Okay, so we're looking at the first of a series of videos just on the standard deviation. It's a minor point in the course, but we'll just go through it. Okay, so far we're looking at the spread of scores. So far the one you've been looking at before is the range, which is just the highest score minus the lowest score. But what we're now saying is that this isn't very helpful because it doesn't give an indication of how many students got what scores. And if we just got one student scored 0, and the next lowest score was 50, then this one score of 50 distorts the range. So the range is a measure, but it's not a very good measure in terms of analysis. Okay, so you can copy that down if you want to, come across. So what we're doing now is this thing called a standard deviation is a better measure of the spread of scores. It's still measuring the spread, but it actually will be used it can be used to give an indication of percentage of students between given scores. Now, we don't have to do this in the 11 apps course, but in other courses, they do a lot more work with the standard deviation. And in terms of what you have to put up with, your Z scores that you get in tertiary scores are actually standard deviations ahead of the mean or below the mean. Okay, so copy that and come across when you're ready. Okay, so this isn't accessible for 11 apps, but just so you know what's happening. Okay, so anything that can be measured, anything that can be measured ends up approximating this shape, which we call a bell. Okay, so if we measured people's heights, their weights, their speed over 100 meters, whatever can be measured, if you measured enough data, it would approximate this shape. So, we've got some kids at the top end, some kids at the bottom end, but most kids are in the middle. And the top of the bell is the average. Okay, so the average score is in the middle. Okay, so come across. Okay, so what we've got is, especially in when you get your Z scores, the average score in the middle has a Z score of 0. So if you get the average score, your Z score is 0. And most of the people fall in between the first two, between plus and minus 1. So most people fit in between there. And if you did a proper unit in statistics, the actual number is about 68% of people will lie between plus and minus 1. 68% are between plus and minus 1. But as you extend the curve out further, say for instance we had plus or minus 2, then we're getting even more people. Okay, so again, this is the vast majority of people between plus and minus 2. And if we did enough work in statistics, this number is actually 95% of the people. So that's why there's very few people above 2 with a Z score or below 2, because there's only 2.5% of people left here and 2.5% of people left here. So plus and minus 2 are rare scores. And even rarer is this plus and minus 3. Okay? So you don't normally get Z scores plus and minus 3 because in terms of statistics, that's about 99.7% of the people. So there's very few people can get above 3 or below minus 3. Now you don't have to worry about this in 11 apps, but I'm just trying to make a connection with what we're doing. Okay, so there's a formula that we're going to be using, and now you would just put this on your cheat sheet, and in the next few videos we'll be showing you how to use it. So this symbol here just means the standard deviation. It's a Greek letter. F is the frequency that we've always done. Now this X here is the score that you're getting. X bar, this is X with a bar above it, and that just means the average or the mean. Okay, and I've actually forgotten to put in a most important thing, this sign sigma. Okay, and sigma just means the sum. Okay, so I forgot to put in the sigma at the front. So it's the sum of F times X minus X bar squared, and N is a total sample size. So sorry about that. Okay, and let's have a look. I think we've got one more slide to go. So copy that and come across. Now I'll just come back and say, now this is a sample. Okay, so this is the formula for a sample, but we can extend it to the whole population, and the only change is you're dividing by n minus 1, and I forgot that sigma sign again. Okay, so the only change is instead of dividing by n, you divide by n minus 1. Okay, so copy that and come across, and in the next few videos I'll show you how to use the formulas. Okay, thanks, bye.